Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The secret visitor of Britt is out. Drew is looking for Willow. According to General Hospital teasers, Michael Corinthos will be ambushed while Curtis Ashford apologizes to Nina Reeves. Let's talk about what's coming up on the ABC soap opera, since Jason Morgan is also going to throw Liesl Albrecht a curveball. Willow will continue to hold out hope of seeing her kids again now that the wedding has been cancelled. Willow recently arrived at Carly Spencer's house, so Michael will be caught off guard by his ex-wife's frantic behavior there. Willow, in a fit of rage, will point out that she never married Drew Kane. Michael might apply the brakes, even though Willow would believe that means he must allow her to see Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. In addition to still wearing her wedding gown and sporting mascara, Willow is currently a jumble of emotions. Michael might encourage Willow to realize that the children don't need to see her in this way. Michael might be hesitant to let Willow to be near Wiley and Amelia once more, even after she has calmed down and cleaned herself up. There might be worries that Drew would entangle Willow in his twisted web once more. Drew, on the other hand, will search for Willow and eventually arrive at the Quartermaine house. Tracy Quartermaine and Cody Bell will be relieved that Drew's life has fallen apart because they will receive updates about the wedding turning into a complete disaster. Nina's life has obviously fallen apart as well, but at least she is happy that Willow left Drew at the altar. Nina will soon have a meeting with Curtis and Portia Robinson to exchange information. Now that Willow has turned against Nina, Curtis will discover that his strategy was successful, but it clearly came at a price. Curtis will tell Nina that he is sorry for revealing the secret desire between her and Drew. When Nina discovered Willow already knew the truth, she was on her way to come clean herself. Given that Curtis was attempting to protect Portia from Drew's blackmail, Nina might not place too much guilt on him because the information was always going to be revealed. Nina is worried that Willow would never forgive her for her betrayal, so Portia will step in to console her. According to GH teasers, Martin Gray will learn some intriguing information. Will Drew come clean about his worries that Willow is stalking Daisy Gilmore? Instead, may Martin learn something about Monica Quartermaine that has to do with the letter? Now that he has located Albrecht after the ruined wedding ceremony, Jason will look for some information of his own. Jason will probably reveal his Paris airport stunner when Liesl asks why he wants to discuss her Britta, also known as Britt Westbourne. Will Albrecht think Britt is still alive and support Jason? Is it possible that Liesl is already more familiar with Britt than she is revealing? Britt will then have an unexpected guest. Britt will be taken by surprise and a little uneasy about the entrance of a mystery man who didn't inform her of his visit. Professor Henry Hank Dalton could be a possibility, but the most recent comings and goings news has given us another candidate to think about. Perhaps Pascal will be the one to knock on Britt's door because Mark Forget will shortly play a character named Pascal in scenes with her. Molly Lansing Davis will inform Alexis Davis that she is done with Cody while launching into a diatribe about him. There will be some concerns when Alexis discovers that Christina Corinthos Davis ruined her sister's developing relationship with Cody. Nevertheless, Christina won't consider it a huge concern and will assume that Molly will quickly move on from Cody. According to General Hospital spoilers, Christina will continue to use deceitful tactics to further hurt herself, so be prepared for the inevitable fallout. Spoilers for General Hospital, Strange Wedding, Friends Apologies, and Important Choices. Updates and teasers for General Hospital hint at strange weddings, Friends Regrets, and Important Choices. Curtis Ashford issues an apology, Michael Corinthos must make a significant choice, and Willow Tate and Drew Kane's strange wedding goes on. Weird wedding, WSB orders Willow and Drew's strange wedding goes on, and Willow is acting stranger than normal as she travels down the center of the church toward the front with about 8 guests. Meanwhile, Jack Brennan in the WSB field office gives some WSB directives to Jocelyn Jacks. Jason Morgan will locate Liesl Albrecht, who is still present at Willow and Drew's wedding, in another scene. Christina Corinthos Davis confides in Michael in the Metro Court pool. Molly Lansing Davis, who is also at the pool, starts a quarrel in the interim. Curtis apologizes to his friend, probably to Nina Reeves, for informing Willow that she and Drew had slept together when Willow and Drew were in love. This is interesting information. Portia Robinson will try to console Nina, who is devastated. Martin Gray will receive some fascinating information in the interim. Could it be related to the letter he discovered addressed to Monica Quartermaine? In another scene, Jason has located Liesl and they discuss Britt Westbourne. Additionally, Cody Bell and Tracy Quartermaine are happy about something. Significant decisions and covert play. Nina makes a covert play elsewhere, while Michael must make a significant decision. What could Nina be planning this time? It will be interesting to see who the new client that Rick Lansing will have is. Elizabeth Weber hosts a house guest in the interim. Is Isaiah Gannon's money trap capturing a bit too much money? Lastly, Trina Robinson and Curtis discuss the most recent vow made, favor sought. Jason asks Elizabeth for a favor. Maybe he wants the medical records of Britt's death, because she might not be dead after all? Willow makes a commitment in the interim, but it doesn't seem like she's going on the French honeymoon Drew arranged. In another scene, Dante Falconeri confides in Anna Devane. Speaking of opening up, Carly confides in Jocelyn about her worries. Additionally, Emma Scorpio Drake confides in Gio Palmieri. Misgivings and answers. While Alexis Davis seeks answers elsewhere, Jason discusses his misgivings with Anna. Felicia Scorpio gives Lucas Jones advice in the interim. May she also be suspicious of his new lover, Marco? And it appears that a lot of people in Port Charles are currently seeking answers and asking questions. Could Dante's questions for Danny Morgan relate to the file he and Rocco Falconeri discovered regarding Britt? Emma and Gio come up with a strategy in the interim. Albrecht shocked, Britt's visitor, Tracy gloats, Willow's unhinged demand. On the following GH, a distressed Willow arrives at Carly's and demands to see her kids. Will Michael concur, considering Willow's precarious mental state? Fans can anticipate that Jason Morgan and Liesl Albrecht will talk about Britt Westbourne. A victory is celebrated by Tracy Quartermaine. Martin Gray also learns some fascinating facts. Curtis Ashford issues an apology. Let's begin with Nina Reeves, who is heartbroken by the revelation of the truth. However, it did prevent Willow Tate and Drew Kane from getting married. Nina stormed out of that chapel, distraught over her lost daughter. Fans are aware that Willow is at the home of Carly Spencer and Michael Corinthos, despite everyone's attempts to comfort Nina. Curtis Ashford apologizes to Nina in the meantime. Nina is aware that Curtis was attempting to save Willow, even though it did blow everything up. She won't blame him for that, in my opinion. Portia Robinson's solace. Nina finds solace while she worries about her daughter's safety and mental health. Nina is being comforted by Portia Robinson. After all, the Jacinda scenario is what ties Portia and Nina together. Furthermore, Portia understands what it's like to have a daughter discover a dark secret. Jason Morgan and Liesl Albrecht connect. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason will discuss Britt with Albrecht. The man on the right will talk about the woman he saw at the airport. Jason knows that everything is possible because he was previously dead and returned. Jason will eventually tell Liesl that Britt staged her death, but why? Tracy and Cody Bell will also be happy, according to fans. Martin receives fascinating information in the interim. A sneak peek at tomorrow's episode also features Molly Lansing Davis declaring something to an unconvinced Alexis Davis. Tracy gloats that Drew has already lost his bride. Corinthos Davis, Christina, offers a forecast. Willow, who is unstable and extremely agitated, implores Carly and Michael to allow her to visit the kids in the interim. When Willow is in that kind of state, they will not allow her to see the children. Britt also lets a mysterious stranger in. What's the story with Britt flirting with him? Doctor in Limbo, Isaiah's journey from fire to forgetfulness. Isaiah was unsure of his whereabouts as he opened his eyes for the first time in Port Charles. He had no idea who he was the second time. Really, that was ironic. A life-saving guy who awakens uncertain of his own. However, as the days went by, the mist cleared and Isaiah's identity became clear, not that of a typical John Doe, but that of a famous trauma surgeon who had come with a mission. For lucky, he was there. He had come to save lives. However, he might have needed to save himself. An introduction to a hero. Isaiah had already flung himself into the fire before the town knew his name. A lead involving Sidwell, a strongman with connections to several underground networks, had vanished from Lucky's memory. Few were brave enough to follow him. Isaiah did. Isaiah had already rescued Lucky from a potentially fatal situation before assistance could come. No acknowledgement is required. Not a parade. Just a man acting on his convictions. After Lucky was stabilized and brought home, Isaiah disappeared into the background, silent and vigilant. However, that was when Port Charles first encountered him. The possibilities appeared limitless after that. When hearts collide, Isaiah's subsequent encounter with fate took place in a hospital hallway rather than an operation room. Jordan. Their initial encounter was tumultuous. Just outside the Metro Court, Lulu had passed out, and Isaiah, who had only been in town for a week, jumped right in. Isaiah was conducting field triage while Jordan was on the phone, racing from a meeting. Lulu's vitals had stabilized by the time the ambulance came. Jordan's expression of gratitude was more than just business-related. A raw, instantaneous spark ignited between them. Politics and personal wounds had hardened Jordan. She was cautious and measured in her relationships. Isaiah, however, was unique. He was incapable of manipulation. No charm disguised ambition. He gave her the impression that he was seeing a lady rather than the deputy mayor. It wasn't common. That was risky. Love postponed for a while, Port Charles appeared to have discovered its next big thing. They had an electric charge. Dates for dinner. Looks from one hospital room to another. Flirtations that were barely covered by municipal business. Then the inquiry began. Jordan had a fixation with destroying Sidwell's empire. Jordan's co-workers immediately began to view Isaiah suspiciously, even though he had previously assisted in bringing Lucky home. His history was too spotless. His arrival was too convenient. And the idea that he knew more than he admitted was only strengthened by the fact that he had connections to Lucky. Jordan felt conflicted. Her head, hardened by years of betrayal, cautioned her to take a step back even while her heart gravitated toward Isaiah. So she did. They put a stop to the romance. Not through a struggle. Not out of a lack of curiosity. Out of terror. Hints of Legacy fans were commenting about more than simply their relationship with Jordan. Subtle hints in conversation and hushed murmurs suggested that Isaiah might be connected to the Gannons of Landview. Here's a mention. That's a raised eyebrow. Isaiah and Tracy's brief conversation even hinted at the possibility that he has deeper ties to the soap opera world. Then again, nothing. No affirmation. No surprise. The thread became stale, lost in the din of more boisterous plots. Isaiah's connections, whether imagined or real, were put on hold. His momentum also went with them. The drift begins. Isaiah, once a dominant figure, gradually faded into the background. He was still wearing clean scrubs. His counsel is still wise. However, he was now responding to the action rather than initiating it. He became the confidant of Port Charles. In the break room, Elizabeth ended herself sitting next to him and asking him what it meant that she still had dreams about Lucky. Willow sobbed in his office as she struggled to find meaning in the aftermath of her broken marriage. Isaiah paid attention. Unwavering and patient. Encouraging. Even Portia started to turn to him as she struggled with her own issues with Curtis and the constant presence of Jordan's shadow. They had frank, incisive conversations that were laced with respect and underlying emotions that never fully developed. However, Isaiah? He was by himself. Advice in a vacuum, being the guy that everyone went to, was perfectly acceptable. Isaiah was strong, wise, and kind. In a chaotic town, he maintained his composure. However, the urgency, the mystery, the fire, and the promise that had surrounded him had waned. Fans started to take notice. Once saving Lucky's life, the man was now unable to rescue his own plot. In every dramatic spiral, he was the voice of reason. The shoulder on which everyone sobbed. The man who didn't ever ask for anything. At first, they referred to him as McDreamy. Next, McGhost. The forgotten flame. The relationship between Isaiah and Jordan never really ended. Under pressure, obligation, and uncertainty, it was buried. The embers, however, remained. They ended up at the same fundraiser one evening. The free clinic stand was being manned by Isaiah. Jordan was delivering an address. It had been weeks since they had spoken. Really, months. However, Jordan approached him after the ballroom cleared and the gala was ended. She added, without raising her voice above a whisper, "I still think about you." He replied without hesitation, "So do I." Neither, however, moved. Neither followed through. It wasn't the proper moment, whatever they were. Once more. The tipping point. Isaiah was dragged from the background one evening at the hospital when he heard something. Two interns whispered to each other in the hallway. Someone is delivering illegal drugs to Sidwell's former downtown clinic. Isaiah hesitated. They say it's still operating under a new name. He was familiar with the clinic. When he first arrived, he had been employed there. And if prescriptions were being redirected under someone else's name, he understood exactly what it meant. He owned it. He was being set up by someone. Rekindling the fire, Isaiah felt a new spark lit by the insight. Not merely rage. Goal. He started to dig, cautiously at first, then more forcefully. Medical records. Logs of prescriptions. Staff rotations. Additionally, the trail drove him farther into a pit he was unaware he had been forced into with each new discovery. His integrity, his identity, and his license are all being used. For what purpose? To silence him? Or to ensure that he never gets up again? He traveled to Jordan with the results. He laid out the documents and claimed, "I didn't do this." She didn't flinch when she said, "But someone wants the town to think I did." "I believe you." Second chances. Isaiah began a covert inquiry with Jordan's assistance. One that would exonerate him. But more significantly, one that would provide him with a genuine plot once more. Things are only now starting to come together. Sidwell is no longer with us, yet his influence endures. What about Isaiah? He is no longer a background actor. Michael Fairman chats with acting coach Holly Gagnier, Avery Pohl, and Caitlin McMullen. Don't miss Michael Fairman's live interview with Holly Gagnier, an acting teacher and star of GH. An in-depth look at soap opera acting. Holly Gagnier, a renowned acting coach who has worked with numerous daytime celebrities, will facilitate the conversation as she and her students, McMullen and Pohl, discuss their most difficult scenes. Fans may anticipate hearing about Avery's Emmy-nominated performances as Esme, Willow's dramatic collapse in court, and the horrific betrayal she endured at the hands of Nina. The actor's methods for handling highly charged emotional passages and the art of making such crucial moments seem genuine to viewers will also be discussed during the live talk. Getting ready for the toughest scenes. McMullen and Pohl will reveal how they prepare for their most difficult GH scenes, including how they use unfiltered emotion to capture some of the most heartbreaking situations in the serial opera. Pohl, who is renowned for her depiction of Esme's tragic journey, and McMullen, who is known for her portrayal of Willow's profound anguish and progress, will discuss how they emotionally prepared for these moments that will have viewers on the edge of their seats. Participate and ask your questions. This live chat is about more than simply listening, it's about participating as well. For all three, fans will be able to submit questions, some of which will receive live on-air responses. This is your opportunity to interact with the GH stars, whether you're interested in their backstage lives or wish to learn more about their acting methods. General Hospital spoilers: is a Jason Morgan reunion imminent? Britt's return astonishes Port Charles. According to General Hospital spoilers, fans are giddy with anticipation over rumors of Britt Westbourne's unexpected comeback. For Jason Morgan, whose heart once beat for her, Britt's return might rock the town to its foundation after years of thinking she was dead. Given Britt's history of keeping harmful secrets and Jason's recent appointment as Danny Morgan's loving father, is it possible that their former romance will rekindle, or will her return cause mayhem? Is danger on the horizon, despite the fans' excitement and hope for a Britt-Jason reunion? Prepare yourself for an exciting and captivating week filled with drama. There was a gap in our favorite city after Britt's apparent death, but GH fans are thrilled that Kelly Thibault might bring her back. Rumors of a spectacular comeback that isn't a fake or a mistaken doppelganger are circulating. Fans are hoping for a second chance because of Britt and Jason's history, which is characterized by smoldering chemistry and secrets exchanged. Given that Jason has been managing his own risks while raising Danny, her connections to Caesar Faison's WSB plans may make matters more difficult. Will Britt's homecoming spark their romance again, or is there something sinister behind her abrupt reappearance? Fans can't wait to find out if there will be betrayal or love. Spoilers, Jason gets a blast from the past this week. Jason's world flipped upside down when he saw Britt in France, triggering a flood of memories. Imagine Jason in disbelief as his recollections of their passionate past are evoked by Britt's familiar face. Being extremely protective, Carly Spencer may be able to spot trouble and caution Jason. She didn't like Britt in the first place, but now that she's with WSB Chief Jack Brennan, she might have a different perspective. Fans question whether Britt's return will drag Jason back into a perilous web or usher in a new era in their relationship, given her dubious familial ties that may have been connected to her disappearance. Spoilers for General Hospital, will Britt and Jason's romance last? As we examine Britt's incredible comeback, the stakes are higher than ever. Will her secrets, possibly connected to anything shady with one of her parents' pasts, ruin their chance at love, or will she and Jason be able to simply start up where they left off? Online fans are demanding a Britt-Jason reunion, but there may be difficulties ahead given Carly and the WSB's involvement. Is there any prospect of Willow and Michael from General Hospital reuniting? Is the lengthy history these two have in Port Charles sufficient to bring them back together? Everyone is aware that Willow's decision to leave Michael for Drew on General Hospital was a huge mistake. Will the formerly contented married couple be able to rekindle their love once the dust settles? The argument in favor of Michael and Willow's reunion. Michael still harbors feelings for Willow. He adored the woman she was before the Drew scandal, even if he despises what she has done and who she has become. His children are also born to her. Willow appears to be experiencing a psychotic episode. She can't handle losing her children and learning about Nina and Drew. She may require deprogramming in addition to psychological assistance. We wouldn't be shocked if she spent some time at Ferncliff. She should be able to move over this entire situation as long as the medical staff doesn't try to murder her. Perhaps her ex-husband will be there to assist her in getting back on her feet. Willow and Michael might be able to rekindle their romance now that Sasha is no longer involved. There have been more bizarre incidents. The argument against Michael and Willow's reunion. Michael will never be able to forgive Willow. Could he? She left him after cheating on him with his uncle. As if that weren't awful enough, she tried to offer Drew custody of their children in the event that she passed away. She believed her lover even though her own son claimed to have witnessed Drew speak horrible things in front of him. And just wait until Michael finds out that she was tampering with baby Daisy in an attempt to gaslight Sasha. How could he love the woman who did those things again, breakup or not? Michael needs to get over this. In the past, he has had terrible luck finding love. Willow appeared to have altered that, but it was clearly not the case. After everything they have been through, his children need him now, and he is a wonderful father. The right woman might show up one day because we never know who is coming and going in Port Charles. It's not Willow. What are your thoughts? Do you think this couple should reconcile or remain apart indefinitely? Michael hears Willow's criminal confession after she rejects Drew and leaves the wedding. Willow Tate left Drew Kane's wedding after rejecting him. Here's how the episode unfolded after Michael Corinthos also heard a criminal confession. Drew began his vows to Willow at the church since there were no objections to the couple's union. Drew discussed how they would reunite with Willow's children and how they would age together. Willow eventually withdrew her hands and inquired as to if Drew had slept with her mother after hearing him talk about their love and promising future. Willow pressed for honesty, but Drew appeared hesitant to discuss any of this and questioned where everything was coming from. Before things became too bad, Scout Kane was removed from the church by Alexis Davis. But when Drew revealed his past infatuation for Nina, Willow attacked him even though he frantically tried to justify it by claiming that Willow was the only person he had feelings for. Willow became enraged with Drew for ruining her marriage and prioritizing himself over her kids. Willow was appalled to learn that Drew had actually used the overheard exchange to manipulate Wiley Corinthos. Willow flinched from his touch and ran from the church, despite Drew's insistence that it was a tactic. They got into a heated argument after Nina Reeves stopped Drew from pursuing Willow. They played the blame game, yelling at each other over this outburst since Drew thought Nina was the one who blabbed. Drew pretended no one could trust whatever he said after telling the others that Nina had arranged for the escort to poison him. Nina was saddened by Willow's suffering, but she was at least relieved that Drew would never again have Willow. Molly Lansing Davis declined to put on more sunscreen at the Metro Court pool because she believed Cody was just interested in getting her hands all over him. Cody was taken aback by Molly's sudden shift in attitude. In the end, Molly felt ashamed when Cody saw her trashy romance book with a cowboy theme, but she said it was research for a book she was writing. Michael asked Christina Corinthos Davis why she was attempting to obstruct Molly and Cody at Alexis Davis's house. Christina said that it was because Cody was the type of man who would take money in order to woo someone. Given that she was paying Cody to woo Ava Jerome, Christina felt certain of it. After discovering that the automobile she had cut the brakes on was actually Rick Lansing's, Christina finally spoke clean about it. Michael learned that Christina almost murdered Elizabeth Baldwin and Rick Baldwin in an accident that wasn't intended for them. Christina also admitted that after discovering the truth, Rick and Ava were now using blackmail to coerce Alexis. Michael wished he could have prevented this catastrophe from ever occurring and expressed regret for not being there for Christina when she needed him. Christina was relieved to finally open up to Michael and let everything out. Christina cautioned Michael that Alexis couldn't find out that she had confessed to him after giving him a brief update on the paid seduction scenario. Michael and Christina were informed of the unsuccessful wedding when Alexis and Scout arrived home early. Alexis described how Willow became furious with Drew for having an affair with Nina when Scout was in the adjacent room. Jason Morgan stopped over Carly Spencer's house to observe how she responded to Wiley's inquiries on Willow's union with Uncle Drew. I look in the mirror, and sometimes I feel like I'm watching someone else move. My desire was to think I was Drew. Portia stood with her arms crossed, saying, it was easier than facing the alternative. You're claiming to be the victim, right? I'm not sure what I am, he declared. Portia, however, was not going to allow him to twist this. You have been threatening people, whatever you are. Extorting me. That's over now. He gave a slow nod. What are you looking for? She moved forward and gave him a direct look. You vanish. Silently. You give up on this game. He didn't dispute, saying, I go public if I even hear a whisper of tampering or pressure on Michael's file. He simply averted his gaze, his jaw clenched. Additionally, the imposter wearing Drew Kane's face remained silent for the first time since he had returned to Port Charles. Questions unanswered. Portia bolted the door after he left. For a long time, she stood at her window and watched him traverse the parking lot without turning around. She was not relieved. Not quite yet. Because the most important question was still, where was the real Drew Kane if that man wasn't him? The GH character will never be the same after Willow's extravagant wedding. How Willow from General Hospital will be altered by a disastrous wedding. During the day, a blown-up wedding typically results in tears and chaos. However, it's the much-needed wake-up call for Willow on General Hospital, who has spent the last year living under the influence of her cunning lover, Drew, and it will permanently improve the character. An event to never forget. Willow has completely changed since she started dating Drew. She changed from being kind and aboveboard to being careless and dishonest. She lost custody of their kids, Wiley and Amelia, started to descend into depression, and ruined her marriage and happy life with Michael in the process. Therefore, Willow agreed to Drew's suggestion that they get married right away, persuading her that marriage was the necessary step to reclaim her children. Truth bomb. But just before the ceremony began, she found out the big secret Drew had been hiding from her, that he was having an affair with her mother, Nina, while she was falling for him. Willow gathered herself and walked away after questioning Nina, who attested to its veracity, and voicing her disdain at the tawdry event. Viewers were left wondering what she would do after she walked down the aisle to her waiting fiancé. Sweet revenge. Would Willow abandon Drew at the altar after letting him have it all? Would she get so overwhelmed by feelings and ideas that she would just flee? Would she perform the ceremony and then plot to exact revenge on the man who had deceived her? Any of the following could have happened based on the expression in her eyes. Now that she had received the necessary wake-up call, it was obvious that the old Willow had vanished. the lady who had become Drew's easy target was gone, and she was prepared and resolved to turn her life around. A shift is on the way. This shift has been long overdue. Willow was a popular heroine at first. She possessed a strong moral compass and was mild-mannered and humble. However, she turned into a naive, spineless sap while dating Drew. She abandoned her morals and followed all of his dubious leads. Willow is able to get back up, brush herself off, and return stronger than before now that the true Drew has been revealed and she knows she has been duped. She has always been an intelligent woman at her core. She is currently a nurse and was once a school teacher. The possibilities are endless for the new Willow thanks to her book smarts and the things she's learnt while working under Drew. Albrecht and Jason talk about Britt. Jason and Albrecht then talk about Britt on GH. Cody and Tracy are happy. Martin learns something interesting. It's evident from this week's GH video teaser that Jason won't be letting this Britt thing go away anytime soon. He needs to speak with Albrecht in order to begin his search for her. So far, Albrecht is behaving as though she is unaware of Britt's existence. Can we rely on that, though? She does a really excellent job of staying current on everything. How far does the conversation go when Jason and Albrecht talk about Britt, as the teasers imply? Albrecht might have the secret to Britt's return. Consolations and apologies. Curtis and Portia both attempted to reason with Willow. Curtis apologizes on Tuesday, probably following the conclusion of the wedding drama. Making amends with Nina might be the goal of this. In his opinion, he did it for the greater good even if he is aware that he betrayed a buddy. In any case, he must regret what he did. If he isn't apologizing to Nina, it might be because Portia is occupied with comforting Nina, whose relationship with her daughter recently fell apart. Portia is aware of Nina's suffering, and they are both going through a difficult moment at the moment. Portia is prepared to show Nina some empathy when she needs it. PC developments. In the meantime, Tracy and Cody are happy. Perhaps they see advancements in their individual plans. Specifically, taking Sunny out of Port Charles and luring Ava in. Alternatively, they both find it pleasing that Willow left Drew at the altar. Lastly, Martin may learn something interesting about the letter he discovered at Drew's. Perhaps he learns more about the author and/or the purpose of that letter. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.